What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video I'm going to be covering another Reddit story. I'm also going to be doing some redstone on our giant chamber build in the background. So please sit back, relax, like and subscribe and enjoy the video. Alright, so the title of this Reddit story is from, once again, an unknown user. And the title is, I took a night security job in an empty mall, then I saw someone on a camera. Sounds interesting enough. Let's get into it. When I was 22, I desperately needed money. I just moved into a tiny apartment, my car barely worked, and I was behind on almost every bill imaginable. So when I saw a listing for an overnight security at an abandoned shopping center, I took it immediately. Yeah, this is not going to go well. The pay was surprisingly good for how easy it sounded. All I had to do was sit in a small security office from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and monitor cameras. That was it. The place had been mostly shut down for years. A few stores had old signs hanging up, but the mall itself was dead. No customers, no employees, nothing. At least that's what I thought. The first few nights were incredibly boring. I'd sit there eating vending machine snacks, watching old camera feeds, occasionally doing a lap around the building with a flashlight. Nothing ever happened. Of course, this place didn't have lights. Like, why would you need a flashlight? Are we being serious? But around the fifth night, things started getting weird, Five Nights at Freddy's-esque. At about 2:13 a.m., one of the cameras cut out to static for a second. Then it came back. At first, I didn't notice anything unusual until I saw someone standing in the middle of the food court, just standing there. The image quality was terrible, but I could tell it was a person wearing dark clothing. I immediately grabbed the radio and called the other guard working the parking lot outside. No response. I tried again, still nothing. Annoyed, I figured he'd gone to sleep in his car or something, so I grabbed my flashlight and headed towards the food court myself. This is a terrible idea. The entire walk there felt wrong. The mall was silent, except for the sound of my own footsteps echoing throughout the halls. Most of the lights were off, so everything was lit by these dim yellow emergency lights that barely worked. When I reached the food court, nobody was there. Every chair was stacked upside down on the tables, dust covered the floor. Completely empty. I checked every hallway nearby and found nothing. When I returned to the security office, my stomach dropped. The figure was back on camera, standing in the exact same spot. I stared at the screen for a solid 10 seconds trying to process it, because there was no way someone could have gotten back there without passing me. Then the figure moved. Not walking, not running, it just shifted. One frame was in the middle of the food court, the next frame was closer to the camera. I actually jumped back in my chair. The movement didn't look human, it looked wrong, like it skipped a few frames in a movie. Then every camera feed went blank. At the same time, I sat there frozen. After about maybe 15 seconds, the screens came back online one by one. But now the figure was gone. I didn't tell anyone. Honestly, I convinced myself I was tired or imagining things. The next night though, something worse happened. At around 3 a.m, I was doing my usual patrol when I heard footsteps behind me. Bro, what are we doing? Just quit this job. It's not worth it, I promise. Not fate sounds, actual footsteps. Slow, heavy, matching my pace. I stopped walking. The footsteps stopped too. I turned around and pointed my flashlight down the hallway. Nothing. The hallway stretched completely empty for what felt like forever. Then I heard it again. One step, right behind me. I spun around so fast I nearly dropped the flashlight. Still nothing there. At this point I was genuinely panicking. I hurried back towards the security office, trying not to run. And that's when I saw something standing at the far end of the corridor. Tall, completely still. I couldn't make out a face, just a dark silhouette. I shouted, asking who was there. No response. The figure did not move. I took one cautious step forward, and the lights above me shut off, one by one, like something out of a horror movie. The darkness kept getting closer. I turned and I sprinted. I didn't care anymore. I just ran back to the office and locked the door. The moment I sat down, the radio crackled. It was the other security guard. The first thing he said was, "Why are you walking around the second floor?" I felt sick immediately. I told him I was in the office. He went quiet for a few seconds, then he said very calmly, "Well, someone wearing your uniform just walked past me." I didn't sleep that entire night. The next morning I told the supervisor everything. He just stared at me silently before asking what hallway the figure was seen in. I told him, and his face changed instantly. Apparently years earlier, a maintenance worker had died in the exact hallway during a power outage, crushed when part of the ceiling collapsed. According to him, guards constantly quit because they'd see things on camera late at night. Most refused to talk about it afterward. I quit that same day. A week later, curiosity got the better of me. I searched them all online, and that's when I found an old urban exploration forum. Someone had posted pictures from inside the mall taken only a few months ago before I worked there. Most were normal, except for one. A blurry image of the food court, and standing in the middle of it was the exact same dark figure I saw on the cameras. The post underneath simply read, "Whatever you do, don't stay after 2 a.m. That's the end of the story. Look, to be honest, that actually could be very real. Like, I've heard of stories online and on YouTube and stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure all of you have seen those compilations of videos and stuff where it's like abandoned hospitals and abandoned like malls and stuff like that, abandoned cemeteries. So it actually does sound quite real. The user, well, the OP, so the original poster, never actually got back to that thread. But I'm actually going to say this is real. It does sound like a real story, but like honestly, yeah, I don't know if this is real, why you would go back after a single night of working there and you experience that. Like, I'm good. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy the story and the extra progress that we made on my world. And yeah, this world is getting bigger and better every single episode. Please let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas of stories that you'd like me to cover, especially on Reddit or whatever it may be. Just drop them in the comments and I'll check them out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.